Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. What would you do if you suddenly discovered your father wasn't the villain everyone believed, but the victim of a massive setup? In the seemingly perfect neighborhood of Vernon Crest, Kat Richardson drops a bombshell during family dinner. An investigation has been reopened into the scandal that ruined her father's life. But while her family starts to hope for justice, powerful people across town are already preparing to silence the truth. Just outside the towering iron gates of Fairmont Crest, life always looks picture perfect. The lawns are flawless, the mansions look like they belong in a luxury magazine, and the expensive cars parked in those long marble driveways practically scream success. Anyone driving past would think the people living there have everything they could ever want. But if there's one thing everyone secretly knows about a place like this, it's that the nicer the neighborhood looks on the outside, the darker the secrets hiding inside. And on this particular afternoon, one of those secrets was about to explode. Kat Richardson stood quietly near the tall windows in her mother's living room, staring out at the peaceful garden. Everything outside looked calm and normal, but her reflection in the glass told a different story. Her face looked pale, and her hands were slightly shaking as she held her phone. The message on the screen had just confirmed something she'd been suspecting for weeks, and now there was no turning back. Kat had always been the steady one in the Richardson family. Whenever chaos hit, she was the one who stayed calm and handled things logically. Years earlier, when their father's business scandal had nearly destroyed their family's reputation, Kat had been the person holding everyone together while the rest of the family fell apart emotionally. But the news she had just received, this was something entirely different. From the hallway, her younger brother Marcus called out, Kat, Mom wants to know if you're coming down for dinner. Kat slowly turned away from the window. Yeah, I will be there in a minute. Marcus stepped into the room and immediately noticed something was wrong. Kat might have been the calm one, but he knew her well enough to spot the tension on her face. You okay? He asked. Kat hesitated for a moment. Actually, I need to tell everyone something. Marcus frowned slightly. Okay, now you're worrying me. Kat forced a small smile. Just trust me. It's big. Downstairs, the Richardson dining room looked like it always did during dinner, busy, loud, and full of casual conversation. Nicole Richardson sat at the head of the table, reviewing legal documents from her law firm, barely looking up as she flipped through pages. Their cousin Danny was lounging in her chair, scrolling through her phone while complaining dramatically about a charity event she had attended earlier. I swear, Danny groaned. Half the people there cared more about getting their photo taken than actually helping anyone. Nicole calmly responded without looking up. Welcome to high society, Danny. That's basically the business model. Right then, the front door opened, and Marcus walked in with Kat behind him. Nicole looked up immediately and noticed Kat's expression. Kat, honey, you look pale. Is everything all right? Kat slowly pulled out a chair and sat down. I need everyone to listen for a minute, she said quietly. The room instantly went silent. Danny raised one eyebrow with interest. Okay, I'm definitely paying attention. Kat took a deep breath before speaking again. You all know how I have been traveling to Chicago a lot recently for work. Nicole nodded. Yes, your consulting project. You have practically been living on airplanes. Kat swallowed nervously. That wasn't the only reason I was going. Marcus leaned forward. What do you mean? Kat gently placed her phone on the table. I've been meeting with someone. Someone connected to Dad's old company. The mood in the room changed instantly. Nicole's face hardened. Kat? She said firmly. We agreed years ago that part of our lives was over. I know, Kat replied quickly, but I needed answers, and I finally got them. Danny sat up straight now, completely invested. Okay, you can't say something like that and then stop talking. Kat looked around at each of them before continuing. There's going to be an investigation. Nicole's chair scraped against the floor as she stood halfway up. An investigation into what? Kat's voice was calm now. Into the people who framed that. The words landed in the room like a thunderbolt. Marcus blinked in shock. Wait, you're saying Dad didn't actually do it? Kat slowly shook her head. No, he didn't. Nicole looked stunned. Kat, the evidence back then was overwhelming. The records, the witnesses, all manipulated. Kat said firmly. Someone inside the company set the whole thing up. Danny whispered, almost to herself. This can't be happening. Kat slid a thick folder across the table. I have been meeting with a federal investigator. They have quietly been reopening the case for months. Nicole opened the folder and started scanning the documents inside. At first, she looked skeptical, then her expression slowly changed to shock. Oh my god, she whispered. Marcus jumped up from his chair. So Dad's name could actually be cleared? Kat nodded. If the investigation confirms what they believe, yes. Danny suddenly looked nervous. But if the case is reopening, the people responsible are still out there. Kat's eyes darkened slightly. They are. Nicole slowly closed the folder. And they're not going to like this. Meanwhile, across town in a sleek office overlooking downtown Fairmont Crest, another person had just received the exact same news. Charles Whitemore leaned back in his chair, staring at the message glowing on his laptop screen. The Richardson case had been reopened. His jaw tightened immediately. For years he had believed that chapter of his life was safely buried. Clearly, he had been wrong. He grabbed his phone. Get me Olivia, he told his assistant. A few minutes later, Olivia Grant's voice came through the line. What's going on? She asked. Charles didn't bother easing into the conversation. The Richardson investigation is back. There was silence for a moment. That's impossible, Olivia said finally. The evidence was destroyed. Charles walked slowly toward the office window. Apparently, not all of it. Olivia's tone grew tense. If investigators start digging again, they will connect everything back to us. Charles exhaled slowly, which is exactly why we need to stop this before it gets that far. Back at the Richardson home, the atmosphere had completely changed. For the first time in years, the crushing weight of their father's disgrace had been replaced with something unfamiliar. Hope. Marcus paced back and forth across the room. Why didn't you tell us earlier? Kat sighed. Because I didn't know if it was real. I didn't want to give everyone hope if it turned out to be nothing. Nicole looked at her carefully. Who else knows about this? Kat hesitated. Not many. Danny suddenly looked worried. But they will. Kat nodded. The investigator plans to make a public announcement next week. Marcus laughed nervously. Well, that's going to blow up. Nicole studied Kat's face. Are you ready for that? Kat didn't answer right away. Instead, she thought about all the secret meetings in Chicago and the warning the investigator had given her before she left. If the wrong people realize the case is reopening, they might try to stop it. Kat finally looked at her mother. No, she admitted quietly, but it's happening anyway. Later that night, Kat stepped outside onto the balcony. The neighborhood looked peaceful under the moonlight. Too peaceful. Her phone suddenly buzzed in her hand. An unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. Hello? A calm voice she didn't recognize spoke on the other end. You shouldn't have told your family. Kat's heart skipped. Who is this? The voice continued coldly. Some secrets stay buried for a reason. Kat's pulse started racing. Are you threatening me? A quiet laugh came through the phone. I'm warning you. Then the call ended. Kat stood frozen on the balcony. For a moment, she felt a strange, unsettling feeling, like someone might be watching her from somewhere in the dark. Inside the house, her family believed justice was finally within reach. But Kat suddenly realized something terrifying. This wasn't just about clearing her father's name anymore. It had become a war. And the moment she told the truth, the war had officially begun. Across Fairmont Crest, the lights in the mansion slowly turned off as the neighborhood went to sleep. But behind those gates, powerful people were already making plans. Because if Kat Richardson thought she was simply uncovering the truth, she had no idea how dangerous the truth really was. And in a place like Fairmont Crest, the closer you get to the truth, the more enemies you make. If the investigation proves the truth, the Richardson family could finally clear their father's name, but it may also expose powerful people who will do anything to keep their secrets buried. Honestly, Kat's courage is incredible, but reopening a scandal involving powerful elites is like kicking a hornet's nest. You better be ready for the consequences. So, what do you think? Should Kat keep pushing for the truth even if it puts her family in danger? Or should she back off before things get worse? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more dramatic breakdowns.